The cell was cold and dark. Commander Una Park sat on the metal floor with her legs crossed and her eyes closed. She breathed slowly. In and out. In and out. She had been in this cell for 3 days now. The Velith had taken everything from her. They took her armor. They took her weapons. They took her communication device. They took her ship. They believed they had one dot. They were wrong. Una opened her eyes and looked around the small cell. The walls were made of thick metal. The door was not really a door at all. It was an energy barrier that glowed with blue light. She could not touch it. She could not break it. She could not escape through it. But Una was not thinking about escape. She was thinking about her children, not her real children. Una did not have real children of her own. But she had something better. She had 12 young cadets from the wilderness program. They were between 9 and 14 years old. They were the best young survivors on Earth, and they were somewhere on this station, hiding, waiting, planning. The Velith did not know about them. When they attacked Station Meridian, they scanned for adult human life signs. They found Una and her crew. They captured them or killed them. But they did not look for smaller humans. They did not think to look for children. This was their mistake. Una had hidden the cadets in the emergency crawl spaces before the Velith broke through. She had given them one order: survive. She knew they would do more than survive. She had trained them herself. The sound of footsteps came from outside her cell. Una watched as a tall figure appeared on the other side of the energy barrier. It was a Velith officer. The Velith were not like humans. They were tall and thin with hard shells covering their bodies like insects. They had 4 arms and 2 legs. Their heads had large eyes made of many small parts that saw in all directions. When they spoke, their mouths made clicking sounds. This officer was larger than most Velith. He wore marks of high rank on his shell. His eyes looked at Una with cold intelligence. "Human commander," the Velith said. His clicking voice was translated by a small device on his chest. "Your fleet runs away. Your station belongs to us now. You have lost." Una did not move. She did not speak. She just watched. "You will give us the access codes to Earth's defense network," the officer continued. "You will tell us the positions of your remaining ships. You will help us end this war quickly." Una smiled. It was a small smile, but it was real. "I am afraid I cannot help you." The Velith made a sound that might have been a laugh. "You do not understand your situation, human. You are prey now. You are captured. You are contained. You have no power here." "No," Una said calmly. "I understand my situation very well. The question is, do you understand yours?" The officer's many eyes seemed to focus more sharply on her. "What do you mean? You think you have won because you captured me. You think the fight is over because you control this station. But you do not know humans very well, do you?" The Velith stepped closer to the barrier. "I have studied your species. I know that you are persistent predators. I know that you hunted larger animals on your world by chasing them until they fell from exhaustion. I know that you killed every dangerous creature on your planet. I am not a fool. Then you should know that we never hunt alone." The officer was quiet for a moment. Then he made that laughing sound again. "Your crew is dead or captured. Your fleet has retreated. You are alone, Commander." Una's smile grew a little wider. "And won?" Before the officer could respond, the lights in the corridor flickered. Just for a moment. Then they were steady again. The Velith looked up at the lights, then back at Una. A power fluctuation. Nothing more. "Maybe," Una said. "Or maybe something else." The officer stared at her for a long moment. Then he turned and walked away. His footsteps echoed down the corridor until they faded into silence. Una closed her eyes again and returned to her breathing. In and out. In and out. Somewhere in the walls of this station, 12 young humans were moving. They were small enough to fit in places where adults could not go. They were smart enough to avoid the Velith patrols. They were brave enough to fight if they had to. The Velith had made a terrible mistake. They had put a predator in a cage and thought they were safe. They did not understand that this predator had cubs, and those cubs were not hiding in fear. They were hunting. Yuna thought about Dahyun, the oldest at 14. He was calm and smart. He would be leading the others now. She thought about Mina, who was gentle with the young ones, but fierce when she needed to be. She thought about little Hyun, only 9 years old, but braver than soldiers 3 times his age. She had trained them for 2 years. She had taught them to survive in forests and deserts and mountains. She had taught them to work together like a pack of wolves. She had taught them that being young did not mean being weak. Now they would show the Velith what human children could do. The lights flickered again. Yuna opened her eyes and smiled at the darkness. "Good," she whispered to herself. "They are starting." The hunt had begun. The ventilation shaft was dark and narrow. Dahyun moved through it slowly and carefully. He made no sound. Behind him, 11 other children followed in a line. Dahyun was 14 years old. He was the oldest of the cadets. When Commander Park was captured, he became the leader. He did not ask for this job. He did not want this job. But he took it because someone had to. He raised his hand and made a fist. This was the signal for everyone to stop. The children behind him became still like statues. Below them, through a metal grating, Dahyun could see 2 Velith guards walking. Their hard feet clicked on the floor. Their forearms held strange weapons that Dahyun did not recognize. They were talking to each other in their clicking language. Dahyun counted in his head. He had been watching the Velith patrols for 2 days. He knew their patterns. These guards walked past this spot every 32 seconds. 20-8, 29, 30, 31, 30-2. The guards turned a corner and disappeared. Dahyun opened his fist and pointed forward. The signal to move. The line of children began to flow through the shaft, again dotted the back of the line. Mina kept her eyes on the youngest ones. Hyun was 9. Sujin was 10. They were tired and scared, but they did not cry. They did not complain. Commander Park had taught them better than that. "Keep moving," Mina whispered to them. "We are almost there." Hyun nodded. His small face was covered with dust from the shaft. His eyes were big and round in the darkness. But he kept crawling forward. Sujin was behind him. She was good with languages. Even now, she was trying to remember the Velith words she had heard. She thought they might be useful later. The children moved through the station like water through cracks. The Velith had sealed all the main corridors. They had guards at every door. They had cameras watching every hallway. But they had not thought about the small spaces, the ventilation shafts, the maintenance tunnels, the spaces between walls where wires and pipes ran. These were too small for adult humans. They were much too small for the Velith with their 4 arms and wide bodies. But they were perfect for children. After 20 minutes of crawling, Dahyun reached a larger space where several shafts came together. He climbed out and helped the others follow. Soon all 12 children were sitting in a circle in the darkness. "Report," Dahyun said quietly. Taewoo spoke first. He was 13 and strong for his age. "I found the engineering section. There are 6 Velith working there. They have weapons. I mapped the path to the detention level," Yoonji said. She was 12 and had a memory like a computer. She had looked at the emergency schematics for only 5 minutes, but she remembered every detail. "Commander Park is being held in cell block 7. There are 4 guards. I found the shuttle bay," Jiwon added. She had a cut on her arm from crawling through a broken vent, but she did not seem to notice. 3 ships. 10 guards. The ships looked ready to fly. Do-hyun nodded at each report. His mind was working fast. They had information now. They needed a plan. We cannot fight them directly, he said. They are bigger and stronger, and they have better weapons. But we have something they do not have. What? Little Hyun asked. We have surprise. They do not know we are here. They think the only humans on this station are in cells or dead. They are not looking for us. Mina leaned forward. Commander Park told us once that the most dangerous enemy is the one you do not know exists. Yes, Do-hyun said. That is us. We are ghosts in their walls. He looked at each face in the circle. Some were scared. Some were tired. But all of them were ready. He could see it in their eyes. 2 years of training had made them into something special. They were not just children anymore. They were a pack. Here is the plan, Do-hyun said. First, we need to blind them. Yoonji, you found the sensor control junction? Yes, it is in maintenance section 4. Can we reach it through the shafts? Yoonji closed her eyes and thought. Her memory showed her the map again. Yes, but the last part is very tight. Only Hyun or Soojin could fit. Everyone looked at the 2 youngest children. Hyun swallowed hard, but did not look away. I can do it. Do-hyun put his hand on Hyun's shoulder. I know you can. You are the bravest 9-year-old I know. What happens after we blind them? Taiwu asked. Then we hunt. Team by team. We take out guards one at a time. We secure engineering first, so they cannot call for help. Then we take the detention level and free Commander Park. Then we take the shuttle bay. And if something goes wrong? Mina asked. Do-hyun was quiet for a moment. He remembered what Commander Park had told him during training. If something goes wrong, we adapt. We do not give up. We do not stop. We are wolves, and wolves do not give up. The children nodded. Some held hands. Some checked their improvised weapons made from tools they had found. All of them breathed deep and slow, the way Commander Park had taught them. Move out in 5 minutes, Do-hyun said. Hyun, Yoonji, and Soojin, you are with me. We go to the sensor junction. Everyone else waits here until the lights go out. He looked at his pack one more time. 12 children against an alien army. Commander Park believed in them. Now they had to believe in themselves. Remember, Do-hyun said softly, we are not trapped in here with them. They are trapped in here with us. The maintenance section was quiet. Do-hyun watched through a small hole in the wall as a single Velith guard walked past. The alien was bored. Its movements were slow and careless. It did not expect any trouble. This was good. Behind Do-hyun, Yoonji pointed to a tiny gap in the floor. It was barely wider than a human head. Wires and pipes disappeared into it, going down to the next level. The junction is down there, she whispered. Hyun has to climb down, find the relay box, and pull the 3 red wires. That will kill the sensors on this entire deck. Hyun looked at the gap. His face was pale, but his jaw was tight. He nodded once. I will be right behind you, Soojin said. As far as I can fit. You will not be alone. Hyun smiled a little. Then he got down on his belly and began to squeeze into the gap. It was tight. The wires scratched his arms. The pipes pressed against his back. But Hyun was small and flexible. He wiggled and pushed and slowly moved deeper into the darkness. Above him, Soojin followed until she could not go any further. Her shoulders were too wide. Can you see the box? She called softly. Almost, Hyun whispered back. I see lights ahead. He pushed forward a little more. His fingers touched something smooth and warm. The junction box. He could feel the heat from the electronics inside. I found it, he said. Good. Open it and find the red wires. 3 of them, together. Hyan felt around until he found a small door on the box. He pulled it open. Inside were dozens of wires in different colors. His small fingers moved through them carefully. I found them. 3 red wires. Pull them all at the same time. Quick and hard. Hyan grabbed the wires. He thought about Commander Park. He thought about his friends waiting in the dark. He thought about going home. Then he pulled. The wires came out with a small spark. Somewhere above him, Hyan heard an alarm begin to sound. Then the lights went out. Done, he called up. Come back. Quickly, Hyan began to wiggle back up through the gap. Sujin grabbed his hands when he got close enough and pulled him out. They were both breathing hard. Dahyun was waiting for them with a smile. Perfect. The sensors are dead. They cannot see us now. All around the station, the Velith were confused. Their screens showed nothing. Their cameras showed only darkness. They clicked at each other in panic and ran to find out what was wrong. In the maintenance section, Taiwu dropped from a ceiling vent. He landed on the back of the Velith guard who had walked past earlier. The alien made a surprised clicking sound and tried to turn around. But Taiwu was faster. He had a sharp piece of metal in his hand, made from a broken tool he had found. He pushed it into the soft spot between the plates of the Velith shell. The alien fell without making another sound. Taiwu stood over the body. His hands were shaking. The pale blood of the Velith was on his fingers. He felt sick. Mina appeared beside him. She touched his arm gently. First one is always hardest, she said. Her voice was soft but steady. Commander Park told me that once. She said it gets easier. She also said that is why we have to remember it matters. Does it get easier? Taiwo asked. His voice was barely a whisper. I do not know yet. I have not done it yet. Mina held out her hand. Come on, we need to move. The others are waiting. Taiwu looked at his bloody hands one more time. Then he wiped them on his clothes and took Maya's hand. The pat moved fast now. Without sensors, the Velith could not track them. Without lights, the aliens could not see well. But the children had been trained for darkness. They had practiced moving through caves and forests at night. Their eyes adjusted quickly. Doyen led them to the engineering section. 6 Velith were inside, working to fix the power. They were busy and distracted. Taiwu Jiwan, come with me, Doyen whispered. Everyone else, guard the doors. Do not let anyone in or out. They moved like shadows. The first Velith did not even turn around before Jiwan hit it in the back of the head with a heavy pipe. The second Velith tried to grab its weapon, but Dohyun was already there, knocking it from its hands. The fight was short and brutal. The children were small, but they worked together perfectly. When one Velith swung at Taiwu, Jiwan hit its legs from behind. When another tried to run for the door, Mina was waiting with a metal bar. In 2 minutes, it was over. 6 Velith lay on the floor. Some were dead. Some were just unconscious. The children were breathing hard, but none of them were hurt. Engineering is ours, Dohyun said. He found the communication controls and disabled them. Now they cannot call for help from outside. Yoonji was already looking at the station systems. I can see where all the guards are. I can lock doors. I can control the lights. Do it. Lock the Velith in small groups. Make them blind and confused. Yoonji's fingers moved over the controls. All around the station, doors slammed shut. Lights flickered on and off. The Velith ran in circles, not knowing where to go or what to do. The hunt had truly begun. Dohyun looked at his pack. They were covered in dust and blood. They were tired and scared. But they were also strong. Detention level next, he said. Let us go get our commander. Fleet Commander Rethak stood in the command center and felt something he had not felt in many years. Fear. All around him. His officers were panicking. Screens showed only static. Communication lines were dead. Reports were coming in from all over the station, and none of them made sense. 6. Guards missing from engineering section. We lost contact with Patrol Team 4. Something is moving in the walls. I heard screaming from the lower decks. Rethak held up one of his 4 hands. Silence. All of you. The room became quiet. Every Velith looked at their commander. What do we know for certain? Rethak asked. His second officer stepped forward. The internal sensors are destroyed. Someone pulled the wires from the junction box. The communication array to our fleet is disabled. And we have lost contact with at least 15 crew members in the last hour. Humans from the captured crew? No, sir. All captured humans are still in their cells. We verified this manually. Then what is doing this? No one had an answer. Rethak walked to the window of the command center. Outside, the stars were cold and distant. His fleet was nearby, but he could not contact them. He was alone. He thought about the human commander in cell block 7. She had smiled at him. She had asked if he understood his situation. At the time, he thought she was being foolish. Now he was not so sure. Something scratched in the ceiling above him. Every Velith in the room looked up. The sound was soft and rhythmic. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Then silence. What was that? Someone whispered. Vermin, Rethak said quickly. This station is old. There are probably small creatures in the vents. But even as he said it, he did not believe it. One of his officers ran to a terminal. Sir, I am trying to access the security cameras. Maybe I can get one to work. The screen flickered. For a moment, Rethak saw something. A face. Small and round and covered with dust. Human eyes looking directly into the camera. Then the screen went dead. Was that a child? The officer asked. Rethak felt the fear grow colder in his stomach. Children. Human children. He had not thought to look for children. Why would he? What kind of species brought children to a military station? But humans were strange. Humans were different. Humans had done many things that made no sense to the Velith. Find them, Rethak ordered. All of you. Search every vent, every pipe, every space between walls. Find these children and capture them. His officers ran to obey. But Rethak saw the doubt in their eyes. The Velith were tall and wide. They could not fit into small spaces. They could not see in the dark like humans could. And they had never fought children before. An hour later, things got worse. Rethak received a report that the detention level was under attack. 4 guards were down. The human prisoners were escaping. He sent 20 guards to stop them. 10 came back, and they came back running. They are everywhere, one of them said. His voice was shaking. Coming out of the walls. From above. From below. You cannot see them until they are already on you. They are children, Rethak shouted. How can you be afraid of children? They do not fight like children. They fight like wolves. Rethak did not know what a wolf was. He made a note to learn if he survived this night. The lights in the command center flickered. Then they went out completely. Darkness. Perfect and complete. Rethak drew his weapon and pointed it at the door. Stay calm. Stay together. Watch each other's backs. But his officers were panicking. He could hear them moving, clicking, bumping into things. The darkness was their enemy. Velith eyes were made for light. Then the voices came. High voices. Young voices. Human voices. Found the big one, Doyan. Good. Everyone in position? Ready. Remember what Commander Park said. Fast and clean. Rethak fired his weapon into the darkness. The flash of light showed him nothing but empty space. His shot hit only the wall. Something grabbed his ankle. He fell hard. Then there were hands everywhere. Small hands grabbing his arms, his legs, his head. Something sharp pressed against the soft part of his throat, the place where his shell did not protect him. "Stop fighting," a young voice said near his ear. Rethak stopped. He was breathing hard. Around him, he could hear his officers falling one by one. It was over in seconds. A light appeared. A small electric torch in the hands of a human girl. She looked about 10 years old. Her face was dirty, but her eyes were calm. "You have our commander," the girl said. She spoke in passable Velith, translated through a device she must have taken from a fallen guard. "You will return her now." Rethak looked at the children surrounding him. 12 of them. Just 12. And they had taken his entire command center. "What are you?" he asked. A boy answered. He was the oldest, maybe 14. His eyes were cold and steady. "We are human. We are pack. And you made a mistake when you took our alpha." Rethak closed his eyes. He understood now. Too late, but he understood. Humans did not just train their soldiers. They trained their children. From the very beginning, they raised them to be predators. The Velith had thought they were capturing prey. They had captured a mother wolf and left her cubs in the walls. Yuna heard them before she saw them. For hours, she had been listening to the sounds of battle echo through the station. Alarms, shouts, running feet, weapons firing. Then, slowly silence. A deep and heavy silence that could mean victory or defeat. She stood in the middle of her cell and waited. Footsteps came down the corridor. Light footsteps. Too light to be Velith. A face appeared at the energy barrier control panel. It was Doyen. He was covered in pale Velith blood. His clothes were torn. His hair was messy. He looked exhausted, but he was smiling. "Commander," he said. His voice cracked a little. "We came to get you." Yuna felt her heart grow warm. Status report. Doyen pressed some buttons on the panel. The energy barrier flickered and disappeared. "Engineering is ours. Minus team has the shuttle bay. Taiwu's holding the command center with the other prisoners we freed. Fleet Commander Rethak is contained. Casualties? None of ours. Jiwan has a cut on her arm. Hyan is very tired. Everyone else is okay. Velith casualties?" Doyun paused. His smile faded a little. 14 dead. About 20 captured. The rest surrendered when they saw what was happening. Yuna stepped out of her cell. She looked at Doyen for a long moment. Then she put her hands on his shoulders. "You did well. All of you." Other children began to appear. They came out of shadows, from vents, from doorways. Mina arrived with Hyan and Sujin. Taiwu came with Jiwan and Yunji. All 12 of her cadets gathered around her. They looked terrible. They were dirty and bloody and tired. Some of them had tears in their eyes. Some of them were shaking. They had fought their first real battle, and they had won. "I am proud of you," Yuna said. She looked at each face one by one. "Every single one of you. You did something today that most adults could not do. You worked together. You stayed calm. You saved lives." "We were scared," Hyan admitted. His voice was small. "Of course you were scared. Being scared is normal. Being brave does not mean you feel no fear. Being brave means you feel fear and act anyway." Yuna knelt down to look into his eyes. "You are the bravest 9-year-old I have ever known, Hyan." The boy smiled a little. It was a tired smile, but it was real. "What now, Commander?" Mina asked. Why Yuna stood up. Now we contact the fleet. Now we tell them what happened here. Now we go home. Unji ran to a control panel and worked on the communication systems. After a few minutes, the screens came to life. A human face appeared. It was Admiral Cho from the rescue fleet. Station Meridian, this is Admiral Cho. We received your signal. What is your status? Yuna stepped in front of the screen. Admiral, this is Commander Yuna Park. The station is secure. The Velith command crew is captured. We are ready for evacuation. The Admiral's eyes went wide. Commander Park? We thought you were dead. How did you retake the station? Yuna looked at her children. They stood behind her, tired but proud. 12 young humans who had fought like wolves and won like warriors. I had help, she said. The evacuation happened quickly. Human ships arrived within 2 hours. Soldiers came on board and took control of the captured Velith. Medical teams treated the wounded. Everyone was busy, but the soldiers stopped to stare at the children. They saw Dohyun leading Velith prisoners to the holding cells. They saw Mina giving medical supplies to the wounded. They saw little Hyan helping carry equipment. Who are these kids? One soldier asked. They are the ones who saved us, another prisoner said. They came out of the walls and took the station in one night. The soldier looked at the children with new respect. They are just children. Commander Park appeared beside him. They are human. Never forget what that means. 6 months later, the war ended. The Velith Dominion asked for peace. They had heard what happened on Station Meridian. They had heard about the children who fought like predators. They were afraid. A meeting was held. Velith diplomats came to Earth. They sat across from Admiral Yuna Park, who had been promoted after the battle. Behind her stood 12 young officers in training. Her pack, her wolves. The lead diplomat spoke carefully. We wish to ensure this conflict never happens again. What must we do? Admiral Park leaned forward. You do not capture humans. You do not threaten our people. You do not harm our young. And you never ever assume that because you have caged one of us, you have won. Why not? Admiral Park looked at the young officers behind her. Dohyun, now 16, nodded at her. Mina smiled. Little Hyan, who was not so little anymore, stood tall and proud. Because we are pack hunters, Admiral Park said. We were apex predators on a death world before we ever reached the stars. We hunt together. We fight together. We never give up. And your children? Our children are raised to remember what we are. They learn to survive. They learn to fight. They learn to protect their pack. Admiral Park stood up. The meeting was over. You made a mistake when you thought I was alone in that cell. There were 12 predator cubs in your walls, and you never even knew. The Velith signed every term humanity asked for. They had learned an important lesson. Humanity does not breed prey. Humanity breeds wolves. And the cubs are always watching, always learning, always ready. In the end, the Velith learned what humans teach their children from the day they are born. Never give up, never surrender, and always, always protect the pack, because that is what wolves do.